Well, the Los Alamitos Equine Sale Weekend is also the weekend of the running of the Blane Schvaneveldt Handicap. Now in its fourth edition, the Blane Schvaneveldt Handicap honors the horsemen and horses from the Intermountain and Northwest region. Today we are joined by the daughters of the great legendary trainer Blane Schvaneveldt, Shonna Smith, as well as Brenda Figueroa. First of all, I'd like to ask you, the Blane Schvaneveldt Handicap, a race that brought so many horses from the region that your dad was originally born in. What did that race mean to your dad?
He was extremely honored when they chose to name a race here at Los Alamitos after him. He'd raced all of his life here, was spent every day making his living here, and when they decided to name that after him, he was so honored. It meant a lot to him because he never forgot where he came from, and he trained for a lot of people from that area, up in the Intermountain area, and he was just so touched.
And my understanding was that when your dad first came to Los Alamitos Racecourse, he came from with horses owned by a fellow from Idaho, Ivan Ashman. Tell me what the horsemen of that region meant to your dad.
The horsemen meant a lot to him. A lot of our owners were from the Intermountain area. Ivan and just so many of them over the years Dad had trained for, and they had really good horses that came out of that area that would come down here and win the stakes races. I mean, those people up there have really good horses, and so that's where most of our business came from for all of the years that Dad trained.
Now, they tell me that on the night of the Schvaneveldt Handicap, the Schvaneveldt family actually presents buckles to the owner, trainer, jockey, the winners of this race. Was that something that your dad was very proud of? Kind of like dinner table conversation, just getting ready, just to present those buckles?
Yes, he started in January asking, have you ordered the buckles? Have you called gifts to order the buckles? When are the buckles coming? And he wanted a buckle for the jockey, the owner, and the trainer. Because when you're a trainer and a jockey, you normally in a race, you don't get a trophy. And so that was important to Dad, that the trainer and the jockey get recognized as well as the owner. So we've had buckles every year since the inception, and we have buckles again this year. So it was something that he really was proud of.
Now, of course, the Schvaneveldt Handicap is held the same weekend as the Los Alamitos Equine Sale, this year being held October 2nd and 3rd. Horse sales, so important to the Schvaneveldt family. What do those horse sales mean to your dad?
He loved the horse sales because he began his career in Idaho by trading horses. He started trading cattle and then trading horses. And really, over the first years when he got into the horse business, he made most of his money buying and selling horses. So when he became partners with Scoop Vessels and the Vessels Schvaneveldt sale, he loved nothing more than getting his horses ready, seeing his yearlings get ready, getting the consigners to come. And every year when he'd get down there to the horse sale, he was just in his element. He would be driving around in his golf cart showing everyone, this horse, that horse, get this horse out. Let me show you this one. He loved horse sales. It was and towards the last 5-10 years, well, even from the beginning when we began the sale with Scoop, it was a way that we were all, as a family, involved. We worked with him. Brenda and I ran the horse sale, ran the office, went out and named the babies. And it was just an opportunity for us to all be together. And we loved it, and he loved it. I think he was very proud.
Now, you touched on a point that I wanted to ask this question. You both worked for your dad when you guys were teenagers, right? What was that like? Two young ladies working here in the barn at Los Alamitos Racecourse for perhaps the toughest boss here at the track.
He was tough. He was tough to work for, but it was just a way of life. I started working for him when I was 7, and it just continued. If he, whatever he needed, and he wasn't a bad boss. He was a good boss to work for. I loved working for him.
What do you have to add about that?
Well, we both started very young. We had to roll wraps, we had to wash buckets, we had to hold horses in the turbulator, and he got us up bright and early. And at that time, we ran 6 nights a week here at Los Alamitos. So we were at the races until midnight, and then we would have to get up at 5, come to the barn, and he would say, "Stop your whining, stop your crying. We have to work. That's what we do." So we'd come out and we'd all work, and then it was family fair. My mom did it all, so she tacked the horses, and it was a good time. It was good times, and we enjoyed every minute of it, really. But
now, reading some stories, you get the feeling that he was always thinking towards that next race, next victory, next victory. But I'm sure that there were some special moments, some special races that kind of made him sit back and kind of enjoy specific wins. Any of those races that stand out?
Well, probably in the later years, of course, Chase passes because he had been so sick and then came back, and those were huge, exciting wins for us. I mean, we talked about them after I mean, it was just so exciting. We can't even say how thrilled we were and how thrilled he was with that horse. That was really exciting. And then the younger ones, what do you think, Shonna?
Well, from the very beginning, when he first came to California with Ivan Ashman's horses, he was this little guy coming into this big, California coming from Idaho, and they had a mare named Band of Angels, and they ran her in the Bay Meadows Futurity, and then brought her down here. I think that was one of his first huge, Bobby Adair rode her for them, and I think that was one of his first big, accomplishments here. And then after that, they had many horses together, him and Ivan. Town Policy, of course, was abducted and taken to Mexico, came back and won, and that was a thrill for him. And I just think every single race, I know people think that maybe he just got used to winning and that was, just what he thought he was going to do every time. But every single race that he won, every single stakes race that he won was a thrill. He talked about it and talked about it and had stories and. So,
Why was Lady Juno's victory special to him?
well, when he had Lady Juno, he was getting ready to try to buy a ranch of his own. And he had been in partnership with people at Bear Valley Ranch, Bart Baker and, and Ivan. And so he was getting ready to try to get a ranch on his own. And she won several stakes races. And he always says she's what bought him that ranch. And had her picture there at the ranch and said, that's where I got the money to buy this ranch. So.
Well, thank you so much. I think we could spend hours talking about the legendary Blane Schvaneveldt, but right now we'll concentrate on the 2010 edition of the Blane Schvaneveldt Handicap. Another great field, the Los Alamitos Equine Sale this weekend. Thank you to Shonna Smith and Brenda Figueroa for just sharing some memories of the legendary Blane Schvaneveldt. Back to the studio.